Hi everyone, my name is Hamid Khan and today I'm back with another video on semantic SEO. Today I'm going to cover a very interesting and important topic that will answer most of the questions of the people who are doing or learning semantic SEO. And the topic is traditional SEO versus semantic SEO. So why I've chosen this topic actually, the reason is very simple because I've seen people, most of the people who are associated with search engine optimization, they tend to claim that semantic SEO is working on almost on the same methodologies they've been already working on, with just labeling the complex or difficult names in the form of terminologies. So today my goal is to basically cover how true this statement is, and not just from grossly or theoretical point of view, but from practical point of view when things go into practical aspects, how true this is, and basically what are the important differences between traditional SEO, or what are the main components or factors that sets semantic SEO apart from the traditional SEO. So this tutorial gonna be very lengthy, and because I've planned a lot of stuff and I'm hoping to cover everything in a very holistic manner in this video, and to serve you as a good resource for understanding this concept and make your semantic SEO game work in a more better way. So let's dive into the practical part. I'm sharing my screen, and I hope to keep things very simple yet effective and relevant, and see you there. Good luck. All right, so I prepared some slides for you guys to understand the concept that I'm going to share in a presentable way, and I hope you will find it useful. So let's jump in. Before moving forward to the actual differences between traditional and semantic SEO, as you guys can see in my slides, I would like to make something very clear, and which is the ultimate problem. I mean, I've seen many people who are doing SEO, they tend to say that if they optimize their content based on the following checks, they think that they will rank. And this is the common problem that I have to address. And this will set some foundation for the topic that we're going to discuss, and will help you understand the topic in a more better way. So first thing first, they think that if their title should start with the primary keyword, it's a win-win situation for the Google, basically, who's coming to understand their page, what their page is talking about. But they do not focus on the semantic perspective, like the context or the search intent they're gonna cover in their page, and what type of information Google wanted to see from the page. The title actually sets the direction for the whole page, for the rest of the page, like what the page is talking about. And this just put a certain type of phrase that has some volume, getting from tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush, and they believe that if they put certain type of phrase in the title, they will cover everything. I mean, Google will know that this title addressed the whole topic, but not, unfortunately not. So they have to think from the search behavior perspective, how users are searching information, number one, and how Google is behaving with that kind of search queries. Like multiple search queries form a topic. So do not focus on multiple search behaviors and combining, clustering those behaviors into multiple set of pages. They just focus on the phrases that have certain type of volume, like threshold. Like if keyword has like 500 volume, they believe that this is a money keyword. So I would say this is the main problem. I mean, people doing when optimizing or writing content for their documents. Number two is very interesting, yet unfortunately, they still think that LSA keyword, if they're used in the content, throughout the content, like more than the competitors, they're gonna rank, and it's a very good signal. First of all, they do not know. I mean, LSA has no relation or nothing to do with the SEO optimization. As LSA, latent semantic indexing, is the technique which was invented first by one of the researchers of Microsoft, Susan, and she invented it to finding some results in a very small web. not the entire web. And it has nothing to do with the SEO. But unfortunately, since then, people started associating this specific technique with the search engine optimization, and they believe that if they optimize certain type of LSE keyword, and interestingly, there are some tools out there as well who provide you the LSE keywords. So again, this is totally rubbish. It do not work. And third thing is they say that if they optimize their content on a certain type of keyword density, like 1 or 2% more than the competitors, and it's also a very uh, positive signal for Google. I mean, why you are using certain type of phrases again and again, and you think that Google will know that this page is talking about that certain type of topic? Why you're not covering the giving the whole coverage for the machine or the Google, like using the anagrams, using the context terms, phrase taxonomies, the queries? Basically, think from the queries perspective, the behavior of the user. I mean, the sequential queries, in what sequence user search the query paths, which query connects another query, and canonical queries, which query come under which specific parent queries, right? So they do not think from that perspective, and unfortunately they fail to optimize their content in the similar way, right? Again, H1 used in the slug, and they think that if they have used specific keyword in the H1, it should also be reflected in the slug. However, it's not necessary always. Your slug should be very like these components, like you can say title H1, the summary, site-wide anagrams, like these kind of components are actually macro, comes in macro semantics. There are two types of semantic. One is micro semantics, one is macro semantics. Macro semantics covered the whole uh, top level or broader or flat level picture that Google first see when they visit your page or website, and and you have to give the broader signals in your macro semantics, right? Yeah, like the macro context of the queries of the user's behavior you want to optimize in your macro semantics, like in title H1 and etc etc. Again, if you focus on certain type of phrases and you say that you have covered the whole behavior, whole queries, whole set of queries, whole topic, whole context, whole search intent, it won't work that way. So these practices are very, I mean, do not, I mean, do not work anymore, right? And the fifth is keywords used in all H2s. Again, if they get some list of keywords, they tend to focus on the phrases over and over again, maybe in H2s, maybe in H1, maybe in title, without thinking about the context, like how these keyword are connecting with each other, right? Which flow they should be coming in. They do not focus on that. And this is again one of the biggest mistakes. They just focus on the keyword, they do not focus on the entire picture. So I will cover in my upcoming slides, or again in my upcoming videos, in detail how to cover, how to focus on the entire picture in a specific subject, or in a subject in a specific context you want your page to rank on. And sixth thing is maximum external and internal links used. And even some people say that, or they still do that, if their competitor has like five internal links in a page, they say that if they need to put more internal links or external links, they also tend to say that there should be a specific ratio of external versus internal links. I mean, why you're putting certain type of ratios, why putting certain type of numbers? Just do everything natural. Explain, I will explain it more on the slides basically that I'm going to cover. And the seventh point is more word count than the sub. uh, this is, I believe this is the most common thing, I mean, people still doing. They say that if the top five pages have like 5,000 words on average on a specific topic, you should do more, or you should add 10% more into that count. I mean, if things gonna start working in that way, so everyone gonna come with more word count and rank on top. So unfortunately, things gonna not work in that way. Word count is a very subjective thing. I mean, why you're focusing on word count in the first place? You just focus on the depth. You focus on the context. Like if there's need, like your content should be necessary. If it's if your content should be lengthy as much as it's required, and and it should be short as much as it's possible. While thinking about putting certain type of count on your page without thinking about the addressing the whole topic or giving some resolution, you just putting some kind of word count in the form of keywords, more headings, more FAQs. It's not working like that. And again, 8 point is they use more heading. I mean, for example, if page top three pages are talking about, for example, 15 benefits, right? Maximum number, they're talking about 15 benefits. They tend to say that we need to add more listicle. I mean, we need to go with 20 benefits. I mean, it's not always putting more headings without like high quality information, without like unique information, without like in-depth information, without like complete information, without like responsive information, without like timely accessible. So these things actually work together and they form a specific holistic kind of approach, and these all things work together and help you to rank better. I mean, it's not about putting more headings than your competitors. So simply Google focus on quality, not quantity. More on this later. The people also ask that ninth point is also related with the above point that we just discussed. I mean, they believe that if they put more questions than the pages who are already ranking in the top of that keyword, their target keyword, they're gonna do more coverage than the competitors. But it's not like that. Not every questions who is triggering on the target keywords on Google in the form of people also ask do not need to be covered in the page. For example, there are some representative questions. There are some represented form of the questions. You have to merge them together. There are, you can say, some Boolean question. You have to do custom questions. You have to reinvent the wheel. Instead of, so once again, the ninth point addressing the same issue. I mean, like they tend to use more word count than the sub, adding more heading than the sub. They also believe that if they add more questions than the pages who are already ranking on top of the keyword on Google, they're gonna do more coverage. But unfortunately, do not. It's like not like that. So the ninth point is very similar to the above points, like adding more word count to the page, more than the sub, adding more headings to the page that are already using the sub. And people also ask, adding more people also ask than the pages who are adding top on the against the target keyword on the SERP. And they believe that they're going to do more coverage in that way. But unfortunately, it's not like that. Not every question needs to be addressed in one page. Not every question, because Google is just pulling out questions based on doing question generation for the heading vectors for the seed queries that people search, and not everyone needs to be addressed. So they just copy the maximum list of the questions, they just put in some order, they just make some changes, and they just optimize their documents. I mean, they do not think some from some semantic point of view, like there are some representative form of question, there is some represented form of question, there are some Boolean question, there are some, you can say, the logical order they have to follow. Even though I say that your heading should also be come in a question format, like Google convert each heading in question to serve it better way in a better way to its users. Why don't you create questions for your maximum headings yourself? Why just believe on what already been ranking on Google, what Google already showing in its search results in the form of people also ask? Why just copying those? You have to think from, again, from the user's perspective, the search behavior, the seed query. You have to think the way Google actually doing question generation in the people also ask question. More on this later, but yeah, once again, this is a very common problem. I mean, one last thing before moving to the next slides. I mean, these all things are about quantity. I mean, they just put more phrases, like put some more headings, put more word count, for example, like more people also ask, and they just say that, I mean, Google do not like quantity at all. Google like quality. Google like how things are connected with each other, while giving more context and more meanings to the machines. Google, this is what Google wants. Google wants less text but with more meaningful information. I mean, not everything needs not everything will help Google to understand what your page is about. I mean, some things will even confuse. So you have to be very realistic here, and you have to think uh, what really you want to show to the machine. So one thing I would, before moving to the next slides, I would like to make it clear. All these things, all these checks are basically focused on quantity. Like for example, adding more word count on the page, more than a sub, adding more links, adding more headings even, and lastly, adding more people also ask. I mean, Google is not working on quantity, even though it's a negative factor for your page if you have like 5,000, 6,000 words length, but you're just giving, I mean, less context while providing more words, while providing more, you can say, sentences to crawl. I mean, Google prefer concise information, concise text, while providing more information, meaningful and relevant and responsive information. So once again, you have to make things easy and clear for the machine while connecting with each other in the form how users are searching, the patterns, the flow, the templates, and how machine is connecting the user behavior with already the, the pages who are ranking. You have to find the gaps. You have to be more accurate and more relevant than the pages who are already ranking. And it's not like always about uh, following the quantitative number, achieving those kind of practices. Another problem, this is, I mean, the main problem that most people forget who are doing SEO is basically they prioritize their efforts towards making content more appealing for the readers while they forget the cost factor by Google. Always remember, Google is a machine definitely, and machine is running on cost. Google is a commercial company who's making money through ads. I mean, why Google is spending time like crawling your hundreds of pages and just finding less information, less context, why don't Google choose some alternative? This is always some, if Google is spending more time in understanding your content, and if your content is not clear at all, if your text is not meaningful, either they will be spending more cost or they will choose an alternative. So this is, call is yours basically. But unfortunately, people say that they have their content needs to be more persuasive, more convincing. It's a good thing when you are selling something, but if you're providing information, you just have to be follow the format or the structure that how Google will basically crawl and understand information in a very easy way. You have to present the information to a like 5 years old, for example. Okay, so if you, for example, start your content, I mean, if my topic is, for example, best fruits for weight loss, and gonna put this heading into question like what are the best fruits for weight loss. Okay, I'll try to write two examples in the form of answers actually to make some, so you can make some difference out of it. For example, first would I would write like fruits are the natural resource that comes with many health and many health benefits including mental and physical. They are also a They're also helpful for reducing weight if they are consumed, for example, in a right quantity with a right amount of balance. So, what I have provided information till yet, there's no information in terms of the question user was looking for, like what are the best fruits. I'm just making some making some balance, making some pitch before I write the actual answer. Now I'm writing apple and, for example, green apple and banana are considered effective when it comes to weight loss. Okay, so this is the answer actually you are providing here. And when it comes to machine, so now think from a machine perspective. If machine gonna read this answer, first machine will read the question, machine convert this question into vector format like as normally machine do. A computer basically, as you've read maybe, converts in text, visual text, into binary 0 or 1. Same like Google actually convert the information into vectors. For each context, there are like multiple vectors. For each context, there's one vector, and the vocabulary of the context explaining the same thing, Google combines them together, cluster them together, and connect them together, how they are displaying on the page. So things gonna work in a very different way for the machine. So for example, if machine reading this content and till yet there is no specific answer to the question who users has asked, from here the actual answer is starting like green apple and banana are considered effective when it comes to weight loss. Now if you're going to write this, the best fruits for weight loss includes, or if you write green apple and bananas are considered a good resource or technique, or fruit, I think fruit is more relevant entity type here, for now you're providing the good to know from here when they are consumed in the right quantity and schedule. Instead, you write the fruits needs to be consumed in XYZ good practices you're just providing, and you're not providing the actual answer. Why you are delaying the answer for the machine. So this is the main problem actually. Once again, what they do is they prioritize their content, making more appealing for the readers. Even though readers today in today's you can today's paced life, they're not like looking to read this kind of fluff. They're looking to get the actual information or the direct answer to their question, and machine is also working on the same principle. So again, you have to make content relevant, yes, but more direct and responsive for the machines at the same time. If machine will not like your content, you're going to not rank on the specific query or the question or the topic on Google. So it's a simple math. Okay, so next slide is about the actual differences between traditional and semantic SEO. The first difference, again, as we discuss a bit about the keywords, the role of keywords in traditional SEO. I'm not against using the keywords, but I'm against using or just relying on keywords without forgetting about why someone is searching for that keyword, and if someone's searching for that keyword, what kind of problems they are, what kind of related problem they are looking answers, and how those problems are associated or connected with each other. What are the patterns they follow when they write information or search for information on Google. I mean, just focusing on the phrases that a tool gives you and just relying on on the usage of those phrases in in a like sequence, like using more phrases, number of phrases in headings, URL, title. I mean, I'm against of that thing, and basically semantic SEO is basically against of that thing. So focus on keyword is the main basically component of traditional SEO. But when it comes to semantic SEO, things gonna change. And I've just written the basic core principles that are the alternative of keyword focusing. And those things are actually mainly two things. Is basically we're going to discuss. Number one is query semantics. Instead of focusing on keywords, you focus on query semantics, and you focus on lexical semantics, which are actually lexical relations. So first of all, query semantics is simply a study about the behavior or the journeys, search queries that a query network usually searching around a particular subject or topic. Once again, as I mentioned, there could be thousands of ways for searching for the same solution or in the same topic. And uh, there's one thing that we say, there's a certain type of weight in a query, like which term or which word holds more weight in a query. And as you if you simply first of all understand the query semantics methodology in terms of search engine point of view, let's take it an example. I mean, if there's a query, okay, the query is seed, we call it a seed query. Now Google actually expand this query or entail this query based on the query templates. For example, Google has some already predict the query, like what kind of user, like what kind of further parameters or patterns user could search, and why Google actually, how Google actually come with the data. Google has already a lot of information available on the around the queries that users searched previously. So based on those information, Google try to expand or augment queries. So for example, the query is best fruits, okay, someone searching for best fruits, or if there's a query, for example, best protein powder, right? So best protein powder, you can say, is the seed query. Now Google entail this query or augment this query based on the search patterns, right? Google make it like best protein powder for X, best protein powder for this certain age, the semantic, you can say the contextual layer, and once again, the qualifier in the query. For example, best protein powder for 18 plus. This is a qualifier. So Google actually get the seed query from the whole question or the query user is searching, and that seed query Google actually work on that, not the whole specific information user has searched or the question user asked. So if you are targeting the query, if you are writing on a specific trying to solve a specific search intent, you actually focus on the query context. Query context understanding is the main component in query semantics. Query context is coming from mainly two things: query definition and query aspect. Query definition is about the verbalization of query terms in a specific context, like how you actually define query in your content. There should be certain type of ways, and which way you have followed, like the represented one, and how you combining those ways. Query aspect is basically the prominent attributes and their associations in the query. It's a bit practical thing, we're going to discuss it later, but these two things actually define query context, like the context of the query. And one thing, the third thing which also helps to understand the query context, which is the query term weight. We actually calculate which word has holds the more weight or carry the more weight. Based on that weight, actually the query perspective, query angles, or query parameters, query patterns, perspective, consideration actually change often. So you have to focus on the core, and you just based on the core, if you understand the core principle of the queries of one seed query, then you can do the entailment, you do the augmentation, you do the expansion in the way how Google already doing. And definitely you jump on Google, you get some data. If I show you, no problem in that. If I go to my guest browser, if I go to a website for specifying information in a specific market, for example, I'm writing best protein, or I'm just writing protein powder. Let's suppose this is a seed query, and I'm writing the location which I'm trying to search in. Los Angeles is the specific city, and search. So I'm thinking from the machine point of view, like how machine has actually perceived this query. For example, first of all, I would like to see some top sub features which Google is suggesting. As you can see, there's product intent, which means this is a commercial query. This query has some commercial intent behind it, and just based on the ads, I'm assuming this, and this is true. And moving to the next sub feature, which is again sponsored ad, the standard sponsored ad, which also actually reflect that this query has some commercial potential. Okay, now I can see some attributes of the protein powder. Is it healthy is or not? Protein powder good for you. This is the represented form of this context or attribute. Then the purpose, then the recommendation of protein powder, then the overview. I can also see more. Okay, so this is I can see the perspectives of this query from search engine perspective. I mean how Google is actually thinking about this query, and this is not coming from Google's database. This is, I mean, not from Google's engineer perception. This is coming from the user's perception about this specific query or context or concept or topic that is being searched in a specific market, which changes based on location, which changes based on the device, which changes based on the history, which changes based on the browser, which changes based on the demographics, which changes based on the psychographics of the user who is searching for the information. And not everyone searching for protein powder has same user satisfaction model or same goal. Someone might be searching for protein powder just for getting the image, just for getting knowing about the product. Someone searching for maybe for purchasing, and someone searching for maybe a content creator writing for gathering some information before writing, like us. Okay, so you can see there are multiple sections throughout the search, throughout the SERP, which you can see, and you can get some idea how Google is actually behaving with this specific query. All right, you can see some questions, some dominant questions, like prominent question: is drinking protein powder good for you? This is the main question of someone who's looking for this query, might be looking for this question as well. So Google has put this question on top. Again, these titles, these description, the bold terms, everything is actually gonna give you some context about the query. And once again, if you go to images tab, my favorite thing, you can see some tabs above the query, like muscle, like whey, like chocolate, like weight gain. These all are, not all maybe are the attributes, but these are maybe, you can say, the adjectives, or maybe some of the values, or some, you can say, qualifiers of this query, and they are somehow connected with protein powder. Now you can get some idea, or you can say the attributes you want to like augment your query. You can get some idea from here. You can see some titles like vanilla milkshake protein powder, again, yeah, muscle milk protein powder. So query semantics is basically another chapter for our another video, right? So we're gonna cover it in more detail. We are actually maybe shifting from our main topic, and I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so query semantic, basically you understand how query is actually working from a machine perspective. And maybe you write multiple queries at the same time, you see how they're linked together, you read the top pages, you see what how they have connected information, what the order they have followed in their heading vectors, and which specific part or which specific attributes are prominent for the entity that is coming in your topic. Okay, so you actually focus on the prominent attributes, you focus on the query verbalization, query terms verbalization within some context, and for before that you understand the query context, and query context, basically you understand from query definition. And again, these things are very practical, so gonna discuss them later. Next thing is actually query processing. As I mentioned, if a user is searching for a specific query on Google, for example, I'm searching for best protein powder for muscle gain. Okay, and I'm writing one more thing, and recovery. Okay, and I'm putting one more word here, like this. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a very important concept, which mostly people don't know about. There are two part of actually queries. One is represented queries, and one is representative query. Represented query is normally searched by user on Google. Like user normally search on Google in the form of represented query. Represented query is like simply a long variation or long basically entailment or augmentation of a specific topic or contextual domain. but Google actually get the main theme of the query from the represented version which user has just searched, and Google actually extract the representative part of the query and then work on the representative part from its backend point of view. I mean, Google will not get all the queries which you're searching and not all matching all the document with the specific queries. Google match the context actually with the documents, which actually saves time and cost for the machines. So for example, for this represented query, the representative query could be best protein powder for muscle gain, right? And maybe, if I'm not wrong, for machine, maybe Google has clustered this query best protein powder for muscle gain into best protein powder, right? And maybe, but this not be possible because best is actually the attribute of protein powder. Best is actually defining the context for protein powder. So best couldn't be a represented version of protein powder. Make sense? Best protein powder is the top level representative part. Then for muscle gain is the represented, maybe from machine point of view, for best protein powder. And then for best protein powder for muscle gain, the query best protein powder for muscle gain and recovery could be the represented part. So yeah, you have to think like which is the representative version of the query, like the main topic, not a single query which I just mentioned. Instead of focusing on keywords or the phrases user is searching frequently, or like most of the time, you focus on the topic or the theme. All right. And once you understand the theme, you get the whole information, not just from the competitors who are reading, not just from the tools giving the queries, from the whole perspective of the topic. And the next thing is basically, once you understand the representative query of your topic, right, you basically then augment those queries. Augment means, again, you make some entailment. For example, best protein powder for muscle gain, for example, diabetes. This is the augmentation. You have to do this because search engine do this as well. You have to do the already work in a very presentable, structured, organized way for the machines to save their time. Okay. Next thing is lexical relation. Lexical relation is simply how two concepts or multiple things are connected with each other, not from the search perspective, like how user is searching, but from the dictionary's perspective, how things are grouped together. For example, regulation are like synonyms. Have you read about that? Like two words, if two words are there, like if I write happy synonym, okay, which means happy and joyful. These two are synonyms. So these are basically, you can say, lexical relations. Lexical means based on dictionaries, these two words are synonym to each other. Same antonyms are also a lexical relation, but if you want to read more on lexical relations, you can head over to some of the glossary terms that I've gathered with a lot of effort. You can see a lot here, like holonym, a term like that defines the whole part. For example, face is a holonym of eyes. Eyes basically, you can see, is meronym. A whole thing which is face is a holonym, and sub parts of face like eyes, nose, these are meronyms. Okay. Hypernym, representative part of something, like color is the hypernym, and yellow is one color, that is hyponym. Things goes on. So basically what you do now, let me summarize it, which is the main point. Our first slide is, you do not focus on certain type of phrases that has some certain type of volume, or you think based on your gut or intuition that these phrases should be targeted on the macro semantics components of your page, like h1, title, or meta description. You actually focus on the main theme of the queries. You actually, if you get the main theme, you group queries together based on their prominent attributes, right? You group queries together based on the adjectives used in them. You group queries together based on the uh, augmentation, like for, as I seen, for weight loss, for muscle gain, for diabetes. You group queries based on multiple criteria set by Google, right? You have You've been finding information from Google in the first place. Once you get the theme, you do all the clustering, classification, which Google already doing from its perspective or point of view. You do the same thing on your page level, and once Google match the already work Google has done, and you have done already work which Google wanted to see, Google and you will now be friends, and Google now ranking you. And this is the whole journey. I mean, that is the main thing which actually you want. So traditional SEO versus semantic SEO, the second difference is, in traditional SEO, you focus on one topic or document level. For example, if I'm covering a page on best protein powder for muscle gain, I'm just focusing on this page. As I mentioned, I'm getting data in the form of keywords, getting people also ask from against the uh, against the target keyword I've just entered, and getting all the triggered people also ask questions. I'm getting the headings from the top pages who are reading, who are already ranking, and tweaking their headings, rephrasing them by using synonyms, etc., etc. So what I'm doing, I'm just focusing on one page, and again using some traditional SEO tactics. But in semantic SEO, things totally change. How things change? You focus on the whole semantic content network, whole network that you create in semantic SEO, which is the actual job, and you focus not only on one bit but the whole picture. Because Google comes to your site, Google do not only see that page, Google actually make connections, make relevance with your whole website. Like, is your website topical authority on that topic? If yes, do the author has expertise on that topic? Do the author has some trust, has some reputation, has some experience? How do Google know about this? Google know about this through the multiple components of the our website, like about us page, like contact us page. If you're putting some address on your about us page, about company information, about the author, about the CEO, for example, about when company founded, about the history, about the mission, about the vision of the company, about the team, about the processes. This is how Google knows that this website is about particular business model, right? And if there is a specific business model, this is the good thing, by the way. If there's no model, you're just spreading information and just earning from ads. This is not a good practice, I mean, which Google loves. So what I'm trying to say, Google do not only see your one page and rank it blindly and test it whether it's good for its user or not. Google think from the whole content network perspective, for example, for the whole website. And you have to do the same. What you have to do now, you actually, from search engine perspective, if you're targeting a specific niche, for example, you're selling headphones, which I've just wear, good one. So if you're selling headphones, and you have created a content network, you're trying to create a content network around the central entity, which is headphones. Okay, so what you do, your end goal is, you first define your end goal. Your end goal, maybe if you're maybe renting headphones, if you're just like selling headphones, or it's just about writing reviews about headphones, or it's just about like giving information about headphones, not reviews in the form of reviews or recommending someone. First you decide what you do, your business model, then you actually do all the mapping of the users or the audience you want to attract in the long run, which is actually called central search intent. Central search intent, basically all the uh, is basically connecting all the search journeys, multiple search journeys of the users into one place in one line, like in the form of verbs. Basically, when it comes to searching information, basically normally two things actually define what user is trying to search and what is the outcome, the behavior of the user. One is verb, number two is noun. In most of the time there are two things in a query: verb and noun. If someone searching is running marathon, okay, running is a verb, marathon is the outcome, which is noun. So noun is the outcome that is connected with running. Running is the verb. This is so the verb is actually defining the behavior of the user, and behavior around what, the outcome, and the outcome is noun. So there is a pair of of verb and noun. Okay, so there could be another more verbs for this specific outcome. For example, running marathon is one. For example, competing in marathon. For example, participating in marathon. Make sense? So you can see if you put specific, if you get your central entity or specific entity within a subject, you actually research all the behaviors in the form of verbs that someone could be searching, and that behaviors actually are also connecting with your source context. Like if you're selling headphones, someone searching for example, exploring headphones, someone like, for example, comparing headphones, someone's like just you can say reviewing headphones, I mean get reading the reviews, or someone just purchasing. These all behaviors are actually connected with the user who actually gonna convert in the end. That is your source context. What you do, you map all the behaviors of the users, you connect them together in the form of content network, which is the base actually. And you understand the query path. Query path means uh, like which path user has followed in order while searching queries in a specific pattern, in a sequence, right? And Google knows about it already, like which query is being searched after which query. What you do, you basically think from your mind as well, and you also go to Google. For example, if you go to Google, and I've written here, for example, protein powder. You can also see some related search areas like protein powder for weight loss. According to Google, if someone searching for protein powder might also be searching next in the next query best protein powder for weight loss, for weight gain, for muscle gain. So what this is actually could be a query path you can define in your content. Like if you're getting one content on protein powder, you also need to create another page on protein powder for weight loss. I mean, not just based on this related searches tab or button. You actually do not decide. There are a lot of other factors as well, like maybe you need a separate page for this or not. But yeah, I'm just telling you or conveying the message that query paths you can get some idea from related searches as well, like which specific queries are connecting, like which specific queries are connecting with each other around a specific outcome, which is protein powder. And around the specific outcome which queries are connecting, you actually target those specific queries in your content network, whether on a one page, whether on multiple pages, and you connect those pages in the same way how user are searching. For example, user, you think that user searching for first protein powder, then searching for weight loss, protein powder for failure, then searching for best protein powder for weight loss over 10 years old. So you connect those documents in the same way how you think user might be searching. This is the query path. This is the role of query path in your semantic SEO process. So in content network, you basically focus on query path, and sequential queries once again is a very simple yet effective term in what sequence user search for information, the queries that followed by another one another. Qualitative queries are simply if user searching for protein powder, once a user searching for, like for example, two or three queries at the same time in a specific search session from on Google, user searching for three queries, for example, protein powder, best protein powder, and for example, best powder for weight loss. Another user searching for the same thing, but also search five more queries, but also search the same three queries which user one, the first user, has searched, which means these queries are correlative, which are being searched together, right? This is how, I mean, you get data from Google in a very smart way, and you connect that behaviors in the form of search journeys, in the form of search activities that user are performing around a specific outcome and behavior coming from verb. Always remember, you connect those information in your content network. You now you can see how much there is a difference between focusing on one topic and how much difference there has been focusing on multiple context topics within your website. And by knowing the goal, what you want from your users, by connecting the information with each other, and what action you want your user to take from which page, and which section of your page will rank for which specific query, even you know that as well. So once again, it's a now very short introduction. I'm trying to make things very simple at the moment. Number third is traditional SEO versus semantic SEO. The difference is title start with a primary keyword. Now I've discussed a bit about, you do not need to start your title every time with a primary keyword. What do you have to do now? You have to focus on multiple aspects at the same times. And as you can see, for every topic, there is one particular entity that someone is searching. For example, I've just searched best protein powder. Protein powder is basically the entity, and the attribute is pest. And noun could be, for example, protein powder could be a noun as well. Noun could be anything. I mean, for example, an entity and attribute both could also become a noun. For example, food labeling, right? Or food shipping. Food is, you can say, an entity and noun as well. Shipping itself could be an uh, entity, and when it combines with, sorry, and when it combines with food, like food shipping, shipping could become an attribute of food, and they both together could become a noun as well. Like food shipping is could become an entity as well. Now you can imagine, you have to imagine from machine perspective, because Google is working on entities. Google has like database, as we mentioned in my couple of recent session in my Ramadan series. Like Google has created some databases on entities, then attributes, connecting with attributes, and then nouns. You focus on entity, attributes, and noun. For example, if I go there, once again the same document, my topic is, for example, diabetes symptoms. Okay, for example, this is the entity, this is the attribute. Okay, so what you have to do now, the next thing is basically, sorry, verb or predicate and adjective. Now you have to figure out the specific, you go from top to bottom of it, like which entity you're going to target. You, if you understand that, you find the attribute, and again if you find the attribute for that entity, like diabetes symptom, this become a context, this become a topic, right? Then you make some, you can say, match this entity attribute pair with more relevant adjectives. For example, severe diabetes symptoms. Okay, and now you have to see which adjective needs to be used with this specific noun or context. Okay, you do not, I mean, put some, you can say, tricky, for example, or hard. You can I mean, you put the best, I mean, pair of all these components together in one title, okay. So for example, if you are writing about, for example, dehydration, and you're gonna write like, you need to put some verb here, like encountering dehydration. And there's another option, if you're writing, for example, facing dehydration. I mean, no, this verb is not making sense with this entity. If I write one more, which I believe, experiencing dehydration. Now you tell this verb is making a lot more sense with this noun or this entity. This is what you have to give, like, because users are searching for information, they are using the more common or the more important verbs with the nouns, with the with the nouns, correct? And you have to make that match within your content. And if user searching for like five verbs with one noun, yeah, so you actually optimize for all verbs. I mean, if someone's searching for on Google, not maybe not everyone searching for dehydration with experiencing, someone searching for maybe experiencing synonym, we can get that some. Okay, maybe someone searching for occurrence of dehydration, maybe. Yeah, just giving an example. Maybe someone searching for undergo. Okay, so what you do, I mean, you make the most representative verb, like which could be most searched or most relevant, most making sense with your noun, which is dehydration. You put that in your title macro semantics component, like h1 summary, but you also optimize for the rest of the verbs as well. Not just verbs, I mean, I'm once again, you optimize for all these: verb, predicate, adjective, noun, entity, attribute. You use the synonyms, you use the lexical relations, you use the relations coming from the query semantics. Okay, one thing, you can maybe get data from Google in the form of co-occurrence. I mean, you can maybe find, like, with dehydration, dehydration, which specific verb is more being searched? For example, if you put here experience, just see. So there are like 78, 200, 200,000 results about this co-occurrence. Okay, and I just change verb, for example, encounter. Okay, I hope the results will be much lesser. 55 and 90,000 again. So this verb is more being used or being more being targeted on the documents that are being indexed by Google with this noun. And again, you can do this with anything like adjective. For example, if I give you another good example, one adjective is, for example, if you like design is your noun, you use creative design with this is the adjective creative. You do not use, for example, high quality. I mean, high quality could also be used, but creative is the more making sense with design adjective. Okay, and for example, you cannot use like increase health. You can use improve health, or you can't use like develop health, but you can use develop skill. You cannot use increase skill. Making sense? So this is the pair or the combinations you have to try on your page, not randomly, not blindly, but from the query semantics, how users are acting, how user which specific verb and noun are closer to each other, from query semantics, from lexical relations even as well. Because in dictionaries, if two I mean attribute, entity and adjective, three trio could be used together, but users are not searching in the same way. That could be the chance. But from machine perspective, you also optimize for lexical relations as well. And again, things are uh, increasing over and over again, but I'll try to make things simpler as much as I could. Number fourth or fifth, I don't know, I can forget the number. Traditional versus semantic SEO, repetitive content from the SERP. As you can see, I've also was doing the same thing. Like we just focus on the top one, the top result, who ranking on, who has done some good coverage or who done a very representative approach or coverage on the target phrase or the target seed query or keyword I'm trying to rank, and we just get that page, make some, I mean, copy the outline of that page, make it more unique by getting data from maybe from other sources. And most of the time, 90%, I'm just following one page. I mean, why you're just copying content from the already ranked sub? Because Google has already indexed that content, and Google knows who is the actual owner, who's the actual con, who's the actual creator of the content. Why you're doing that? Once again, semantic SEO is about reinventing the wheel. I mean, you have to, if you want to become a subject matter expert, basically, then you have to rethink from multiple perspectives. And a good semantic SEO content is not about copying information from the competitors. You also, I mean, you actually get idea from the competitors to make yourself classifying with the top sources. For example, if you trying to rank on, for example, overhydration, and healthline is already ranking, webmd is already ranking, you must read their content. You must get the top phrases, attributes, entities, nouns, perspectives, considerations, adjectives they have used within their content, n-grams, co-current terms, collocation terms, skip gram dominant word. I mean, you get the vocabulary of the topic you're gonna trying to cover on your page, the form of a very contextual manner, which you actually want Google to see in a good way. So you get the data from pages because you want consensus. If you want consensus, Google will see that those people who have researched, if you have to be doing those things in a way, because Google, you want to get some confidence score from Google point of view. So once again, not copying, copying is not bad, but if you are only copying information, that is bad. Okay, I mean, copying is the wrong word. Getting idea, getting context from the top page is good thing. So what you do instead, you actually make your information responsive, and information is made responsive by multiple factors, and some of the factors I mentioned here. Unique. First thing is, if you're giving unique information for a specific context, maybe in a specific heading, maybe the whole page. For machine it could vary. I mean, your information should be unique, okay, not copying from the top subcorpus invented index that Google has. Give unique information. And with unique, you provide complete information. I mean, if you do not providing complete information, just writing, for example, if someone's searching for best fruit for weight loss, you're providing best fruit for weight loss, like apple and banana are best fruit for weight loss. So you're providing information, and for example, this is also unique, but you're not providing complete information. Complete in terms of like how they help with weight loss. I mean, you connect the fruit names with their usage and how they could possibly be effective for weight loss, and which specific fruits are best for which type of weight loss, which specific fruits are best for which specific you can say qualifiers. I mean, based on gender, based on specific uh, disease, based on specific goal or objective in weight loss. And this could, as there could be multiple objective in weight loss, right? So you are just giving the direct answer, which is good, but you also need to give complete information. If someone user maybe coming to that section has multiple trying to explore information from multiple perspective, as I seen for weight loss, for muscle gain, I mean for protein powder basically. So for weight loss, I mean there could be multiple fruits, and there could have multiple use cases. So you have to give the maximum information, because someone might be searching for one point, someone might be searching for multiple points. You group them together and you complete the context from search perspective, multiple search intent in one section, based on their priority order, contextual flow, contextual connection with your macro context. So again, things gonna diverting, but yeah, complete information is always, but always good. Relevant, again, relevant is also good. If you're providing very direct answer, which is good, but not relevant for the users, which is wrong. Relevant is always necessary. But from machine perspective, if there is not a specific relevant answer, there could be a direct answer as well. So this is a very important thing. Just focus on this phrase. I will explain it later. Reputation, I mean, if you're providing information and quoting information from certain type of resource, I mean, you're providing, like you're saying that, hey, based on X research, X quoted in X journal, these fruits are best for weight loss because they help with XYZ, blah, blah, blah. What you doing, you creating some reputation. Reputation in the form of quoting the research, just their names, when they published, who published them, the author, which journal they've been published in, what they actually stating or quoting, and everything. Number two thing in reputation that could come, like your own reputation. I mean, you being as a creator, there might be some reputation Google has set, like the author rank. Maybe Google worked in past author agent rank. There's also some reputation for you, against you as well, I mean, in terms of Google. So reputation could have multiple meaning, but yeah, the information you're providing, how much that information is valid or true, the reputation, okay. If for example Healthline is also quoting the same thing, which means that information reputation is very high, because Healthline is also quoting the same thing. But the unique, it couldn't be unique, because you're just quoting the Healthline. So you have to think from multiple facets, not just from one facet. Timely means, again, I've just mentioned, you're just writing three fluffy lines but not giving the exact or direct answer for the question user is trying to ask. You giving fluff information, contextless terms, contextless sentences. Just put the most important phrase in the starting line. Your starting line should be about the exact answer of the question. Timely. Accessible means, accessible couldn't be, I mean, just come in text. It could be in the form of images, in the form of design elements. How a machine, this is basically from machine perspective I'm talking about mainly, how a machine is actually getting specific type of information of the query network that maybe user are searching from multiple in terms of multiple behaviors using multiple verbs and nouns, etc., etc. How your information is accessible for multiple type of search intent. Accessible means timely. Once again, accessible means the order, the placement of the information, and things change as well. More things will come again. Once again, uh, another difference between traditional and semantic SEO is people copy the people also ask results from the Google, and by just copying the list, and they say that their content is optimized for all the questions that someone could ask on Google, but not all questions. These are just the questions that Google has generated itself based on its algorithms. But you have to if you're just copying what Google has suggested, it doesn't mean that Google will now rank you because you're answering all questions. I mean, you have to rethink from the queries perspective, like once again from query semantics and from lexical semantics. I mean, if someone, in simple words, you do question generation. I mean, you get a seed query, you get all the angles against around that query. I mean, what are the angles? For example, protein powder is the seed query, and someone searching for protein powder for weight loss, protein powder for muscle gain, protein powder for diabetes, getting all the angles. Now you're generating questions against those angles. You again, this is all about using common sense, reading competitors, not copying, reading competitors, getting your mind stuck into the information for some time, making your mind dirty. And I mean, if you read more, definitely, if you had some good solid grasp on the knowledge you're trying to cover, you're gonna get come with more idea. So actually it's about reinventing the wheel. I mean, not only copying but thinking about the subject as a whole, then the common problem that someone could face, and getting queries data as well from tool as well, which is a good thing. But turning that data into question format and in a logic order, and by making representative question on top, represented questions within them, because you need a contextual flow from machine perspective. uh, the HTML elements, actually you use H2s, H3 as well. Okay. And you also do Boolean questions. Boolean question means that needs some answer in the form of yes or no. Like, does protein powder help with muscle gain? Yes, it helps with muscle gain in the following ways, XYZ. So yeah, a lot of more debate on question generation basically, and how you actually target questions. But yes, it's not about just copying the top 10, top 20, top 30, or all questions. Some people also copy all questions and just create multiple pages. But again, it's a very bad approach, or very uh, unhealthy approach from a semantic SEO perspective. And this is not semantic SEO basically. By stuffing more entities, by stuffing more attributes, this is not semantic SEO. And this is the more another important thing, that in traditional people say that target the related keywords. I mean, everything what they do is revolving around keywords. I mean, again, keywords are good, but focusing on solely relying on keywords is not good. So they just do like copying related keywords from the tool, or going to Google related searches, just simply copy them and optimizing them within the content. Ask the writer like, hey, just use them wherever they make sense, wherever they wherever they could be uh, could seem more natural. I mean, it's a very outdated stuff right now. So yeah, in semantic SEO, basically you focus on related search activities, not keywords. Activities define keywords. As I mentioned, you define queries, the query context, query definition, query aspect, query term weight calculation, and which is also a part of frame semantics. Maybe most of you guys already know about frame semantics. Who not? Let me open it up for you guys. Frame semantics is basically about a frame of information. If someone maybe uh, searching for the sale, I mean sell word, I mean they also need to know about basically money, or basically cash, or buyer, seller, goods. I mean, without knowing all these terms, they cannot know about sell word. this is frame, this is all the activities that are connected with each other. And before before moving to one aspect, basically you need to actually cover multiple aspects as well. These are the related behaviors or related activity. But again, these concepts are coming from uh, linguistics. As I mentioned, linguistics is backbone of the language, which mainly search engine is working on. And once again, semantic similar terms and semantic relevant terms. So you just think them in a way that semantic similarity and semantic relevancy, these two things terms are coming from semantic similarity and semantic relevancy. Semantic similarity is basically in linguistics, or basically in simply dictionaries, how two things are closer to each other. For example, um, in dictionaries, for example, two kinds of snakes like cobra and python, they could be closer to each other. Yeah. Or you can say sky and blue color. Yeah. Not sorry, sky and stars, they could be closer to each other. But relevant is how user are connecting those two things. For example, earth and sky, they are not very closer in terms of semantic similarity, right? Similarity means I mean, in terms of meanings, how they are closer to each other. But relevant means how they are associated with each other in a context. For example, earth and sky, these are relevant, but they are not similar, semantic similar. Make sense? So yeah, what you focus on, you basically, instead of related keywords, you get all the frame of the information, all the specific context terms, context words. You get the semantic similar terms within your topic, you get all the semantic relevant terms within your topic. You again combine them together, you make some pairs, make an order, you make a contextual flow, you make a contextual direction, you make contextual connection, you make contextual borders. Connect everything, you connect everything better than your competitors who are already ranking there. This is your goal ultimately, and this is why semantic SEO is tough. Most of people ask me, and this is why. So density is still, I mean, why people are focusing on it. I am not very clear about it. I mean, they just say that their primary keyword needs to be used like one or two times for every 100 words. I mean, again, Google is not working on that principles, because Google worked on that before. Like if you just put certain type of phrases like 500 times, you're gonna rank on them without any relevancy, without any further all the semantic stuff, meanings, context, and pairing. So today, in today's world, in today's search engine world, you optimize multiple things at the same time. You optimize your n-grams. N-grams are simply like unigram, bigram, trigram, fourgram. Simply co-current words, words that co-occur together frequently. For example, tennis and ball. These two words co-occur together. Most in documents, for example, these two words commonly occur together. Sugar and tea. Yeah, makes sense. Milk and coffee, for example. Collocations are basically the terms or the words that occur together in the same order. I mean, without any break. For example, day and night. These come together. For example, fast running. These two can't be like some any word can't break these two words. These are collocation. Skip gram dominant words are basically um the words actually that predict the next context word within a specific corpus. Um, it is basically, I've written a post on skip gram dominant words. You can see here if you want further reading. So these words are also necessary from machine perspective, from machine learning perspective, that they help you understand which word is specifically more relevant in a specific context. For example, you can see here the cat. Cat stood on the mat, cat laid on the mat, cat ran on the mat, cat sat on the mat. So sat is basically the more predictive word that are used by people in that specific context. So this is the role of skip dominant words, and they could be used for multiple uh, tasks like topic map research, topic modeling, and content structure and NLP optimization. And they're very handy when it comes to semantic SEO. And so in simple words, in nutshell, You get these vocabulary, you get these words, you get these uh, basically terms, and you connect them together in a specific context, without diluting or without sharpening the context. You actually connect everything together, and this is how Google or machine understand what your page is basically about, which context, which macro context you're talking about, which are the micro contexts are there around the specific topic or queries. So finally, we are at the end of the slides, and I hope this topic is very effective till yet. If not, do let me know. And if there's any feedback, I'm happy to hear that. Semantic SEO in nutshell is about reinventing the wheel. It is not about getting a list of keywords, getting a list of pages, extracting the heading from competitors, extracting people also ask from Google, copying getting word count ranges from multiple pages, increasing 10-15% in that ranges, getting all the subtitles, making more unique. I mean, semantic SEO is about reinventing something that no one could ever done in that subject over the history. You do that first. You need to be the first website that do this kind of stuff in your specific knowledge domain. Knowledge domain is like any domain of knowledge: coffee, fruit, country. Yeah, makes sense. So it is about reinventing the wheel by helping machine, by saving their cost and time, while providing cheap, while providing faster, and while providing relevant and responsive and unique information and accurate information better than anyone else. So this is about creating a content network in an organized way, in a well structured way, by connecting everything together in a subject. From query semantics perspective, how user are actually searching information. Now you got some idea how query semantics work. And from linguistics perspective, like frame semantics, like lexical semantics, how things are associated with each other in a specific context. You gather everything together in one plate, you optimize them, you make some tests, you do you use your brain, you do not use any tool. It's all about testing your brain, training your brain, and understanding algorithms and more things as well. More on this later. A successful semantic SEO is basically focused on both machines and users, not just machines basically, because some people has like overwhelmed semantic SEO with machines. They say that, hey, just write for the machines, just use these phrases, just make these entities connected with each other. I mean, if your content, I mean, okay, it's good if you're getting traffic just by optimizing for machine, but if your user are not sticking, if your user not converting, if you're not generating any kind of business, how would that content would be helpful for you? I mean, spending time, you're spending cost, you have done good investment, I mean, but your user are not converting at all. That's a big gap in your semantic SEO strategy. So you need to think from both perspective. And most important, 99% of the things, if you do, like I mentioned, like in my example, 99% of the things you can do and satisfy both machine and user at the same time. You do not need to do extra work for machine and do extra work for user. For example, if you think from machine perspective first, machine is also working for users. Machine is also giving you the results, giving you the suggestions, giving you all the information available on the Google for based on the users data. Mach- Users feed machines, and you are getting information from machine, so you are actually connecting with users in the first place, right? All these efforts for end goal is users, but reaching reaching to users, we have to satisfy some factors that are set by machines. So machine is the mediator or the dictator. I mean, without machine you cannot reach to your users who are searching. And again, it's a very interesting thing. I mean, semantic usages becomes very interesting, I mean, when you understand these things. So I've also created a slide on some specific, because we have now discussed very from Google's perspective, queries, context, entities relationships. Now I've created something that could also help you to create some content for the users at the same time, and that content basically could become both helpful for readers, users as well, at the same time for machine. So simply you have to answer a couple of questions, not couple, some questions after writing your content. That does the content provide original information, reporting, research, or analysis? Yeah, like you have written the content. Is it providing the original information, or is it again original thing just I mentioned? Everything gonna connect again and again. Is it providing original information, or is it just copying information from the top pages or any third party websites? Yeah. And apart from original information, is it providing any reporting like researches, stats? Because numbers help users and machine to gain their trust. Numbers are always trustworthy most of the time if they're coming from credible sources. So yeah, your information needs to connect with the top consensus, the numbers that have been done in order to back your claim, in order to uh, be an authority on your topic. You have to talk in the form of numbers. The second part, the second bullet is, does your content provide a substantial, complete, or comprehensive description of the topic? And again, this is the point I've mentioned: complete information, completeness. Like if you're providing information which is relevant, which is direct, but you're not providing the complete resolution to the problem of the user who is searching in the first place, not just from one perspective or angle, but from all or maximum perspectives in one place. Substantial mean enough. Is it providing enough, complete, or comprehensive, in-depth information of the topic? If no, then your content is not helpful. Sorry to say. Third bullet is, does your content provide insightful analysis or interesting information that is beyond the obvious? I mean, if you're writing sky is blue, sun rises from the east, and I mean, if you're talking about obvious thing that people or users already know, why they read your content and they spend their time? Instead, they're looking for something that they already don't know. Give them some value. Yeah, give them some value. So give them some value in the form of interesting way beyond the obvious thing, and give them your own analysis because you are now expert. User reading information because they think that you're an expert. If you are not giving your if you're not giving analysis from your personal experience or expertise, your first hand research, your first hand experience, you have to say user that you have to prove users through your words, through your sentences, that you have gone through the problem physically, that user is searching right now, and this is how they will trust on your information. So you have to give insightful analysis to show them that you have gone the problem physically that they are facing right now, and interesting information at the same time to overcome with that problem in the form of resolution. So the fourth bullet is, if the content draws on other sources, does it avoid simply copying or rewriting those sources and instead provides substantial additional value and originality? Once again, if you're just copying information from multiple sources, copying this paragraph from another in the form of maybe research, in the form of maybe a stat, are you like adding some more value to this and originality? If no, then you are doing wrong. It's good if you're getting stats, studies, researches, reporting stuff from other sources, but you have to give your opinion as well, how these things are making sense with your topic, with the problem you're going to address as an expert. You have to make, if you're making a claim, then connect it with your information as well, with your topic simply. Does the content, does your main heading or page title provide a descriptive, helpful summary of the content? Page title, as I mentioned, is macro semantics, and headings as well. Main heading, H1, you can say. So, in simple words, are they providing helpful summary? Summary means from machine perspective or user perspective, they first look at the summary. If the summary do not satisfy them, uh, they simply know that this page is not right for them. So summary is always a good thing to stick users, and again in terms of machine perspective as well and from user perspective as well. Third last bullet is that is this the sort of page you would want to bookmark, share with a friend, or recommend? This is very important thing. I've loved it basically. Hey, you have written a page. Do you think that you would want to recommend someone to save this page on your, I mean, in your bookmark list, recommend a friend? If not, then your content is not helpful. You have to make it very engaging, not very engaging. All the factors you have to satisfy. Ultimately, solving the problem of the user in the best way, in the best ever way, then better than better than anyone else. So yeah, this is the main line you have to focus on. Does your content provide substantial value when compared to other pages in search results? I mean, simply open top 10 pages after writing your content. Before writing, it's good. Now you have written your content. Now again open all top 10 pages. Now read those pages and read your page again. If you think that your page is providing more value than those pages, you're good to go. But if you think you just copied their information, or you maybe got information from other sources, but at the end of the day you just telling the same thing but in different way, it's not helpful. Simply, you're not providing any unique original information. Simply, last thing is, does your content have any spelling or stylistic issues? It's very important. I mean, spelling, stylistics are things that from machine point of view it's always good, and it shows that how much effort you put, it's good. But how much your content is presentable from grammatical point of view, from, and even from user point of view. If, for example, your content should be easy to understand without any doubt. As much as you can make your content easy to understand. But if you're giving information and you have like grammatical issues, and you have not a specific pattern in your heading styles, not a consistency, brand consistency, uh, I can say a topic consistency as well, then there also a need of that. You are not actually making, you're actually failing yourself to present yourself as an expert. Okay, you have to think from this perspective as well. So final thought. Good. I'm now very happy because we have reached to the final slides. So final thoughts are, semantic SEO is not about following a list of checks. Once again, it's not like if you get those pages, if you get those n-grams, if you get those query semantics thing stuff, and things will all, you will also you will automatically rank like on autopilot. It's not like that. Things are very dynamic here. Things change from context to context. Things change from topic to topic. Things change if you change the outcome, like the noun, everything gonna change, the verbs. So it's a very dynamic thing. I mean, if in the future video, if I get some time, by luck or by intention, I will tell you how to create a maybe a brief, how to create a topical map practically. But you will then know that it's not about following a list of checks. You have to take multiple u-turns, you have to take multiple left turn, right turn, you have to fall again and again, you have to fail. It's all about that, and then you will learn. Okay, semantic SEO is not about just imitating the competitors. It's not about like you follow healthline, you follow webmd, and you say that I've got the topics like 200 topics, healthline has covered around this subject, 150 topics webmd has covered, etc. Just club them together with some more sort of spices, etc., and you think that you will now rank. Once again, why are you doing that? I mean, just wasting your time. People have already tested this stuff over and over again. It's not working anymore. So yeah, it's about reinventing the wheel, thinking from the user's perspective, how Google is actually solving the user intent, and how you could help Google to solving that user intent through your document, through your content, through your expertise. Again, okay, semantic SEO is not only a shift from keywords to topics. I mean, people who just learned semantic SEO, they just got to know that after a lot of learnings, they got to know that, hey, this is the same thing, just it's a shift from keywords to topics. I mean, now you got some idea just what I've explained. It's a very, again, very um, compact mode in which I've explained, not a very lengthy way. So, but again, you got some idea that it's not just about topics. It's about how topics are connected with each other. It's about how queries are connecting with each other. The types of queries, again, represented queries, query, canonical queries, query paths, sequential queries, query session logs, okay, and a lot more things. Query context, query term weight calculation, query, you can say query augmentation. There's a lot of knowledge out there. I mean, if, and I'm not actually mentioned everything from a practical perspective, because if I gonna tell everything from a practical approach by just hopping to Google search, doing everything manually, this is gonna make more out there, and this could maybe jump up to 5 hours. Yeah, possibly. So it's not only about shift from keywords to topics. It's a shift from a complete knowledge domain. It's complete shift from for around a knowledge domain, from a Google perspective, from a user perspective, not around just a phrase that someone suggested, a tool suggested that this phrase has more volume. You should also against this, go for this phrase. And this is how a competition increases, because everyone has access to hrefs. Everyone gets the same SERP ranking on top. Everyone gets the same pages on, get same queries from href, and they target the same queries. This is how competition increases, because they're following same things. Everyone is doing same. This is a good thing for you, because if 90% are following the common ways of writing a content, or the traditional way, you're gonna come with something unique, with some more spicy, with some more reliable information: original, accurate, timely, precise, relevant, direct, responsive, accessible. You're gonna make some impact, I hope. On average, semantic SEO deliverables, sorry, a good semantic SEO is not only about machine and responsiveness. As I mentioned, you have to think from user perspective as well. Helpful content. On average, semantic SEO deliverables takes 50x more time, or 50 times more time than traditional SEO. Okay, this is the most important thing, because a couple of things I've done in the start, and as well now, doing them as well now, like, it's deliverables, like semantic deliverables are taking a lot of research work, a lot of information gathering, a lot of revising the stuff, and it's changing based on experiences. You improve yourself. So in start, things go out of your control. So yeah, in on average, semantic issue deliverables take more time. For example, topical map, you're gonna create maybe keyword research you do in 2 days, simply just getting keywords from href, making them search on Google. If the type of results ranking are matching with your website, or matching with your type of query, like informational pages, you're just gonna create pages against those keywords. It's like simply like that, okay? But in semantic SEO, things are very dynamic once again. So it's like 3 a.m. At my side, and I've been working on this video for more than 4 to 5 days. Have created many slides. Apart from this, combine it together. This is not a scripted video. This is all about my personal experience, my personal learning journey, which I've shared, and what I'm believing that you got some idea. I mean, how semantic SEO is working, and you got some idea from practical point of view as well. I hope that how things are interlinked together, and from machine perspective, how things are changing. And you also got some idea that semantic SEO is not working on the same methodologies on which traditional SEO is working. Traditional SEO is working, you have seen, but semantic SEO is a very opposite picture. So if you want to learn more on semantic SEO, then definitely keep learning from the multiple sources, like Koray's framework, which is obviously a very important step if you want to learn semantic SEO. Follow his YouTube channel, read his case studies, go to SEO by the Sea, Bill Slasky, who is the semantic search guy, who's not present in this world now. but his knowledge is very relatable with the concepts we are actually learning. Follow more experts like Olaf Koof, some Google Updates guy like Terry Sullivan, like Mary Haynes. So also you can also learn from methodology, or you can say concept to concept, like lexical semantics is one concept, like query semantics is one concept. You have to gather this concept, all the information available or through multiple sources, make a slides like this, learn it, okay, make some notes, and once again, things are very dynamic when it comes to learning as well, and things 90% change when things go to practical. So you can maybe experience things yourself, and you maybe get some idea in a more better way than me. So I hope you, I wish you all the best with your learning journey. And if you have any question, I hope you got many, just drop them in the comment section below and I'll try to answer the questions. Whenever I get some time. And thanks everyone for this video. Bye.